Alright, so today we're going to be factoring identities. So again, you're going to need that chart from the other day, the laminated chart that has all the identities that we've been using. Okay, first thing is factoring out common terms. So we've done this before on the last notes, but we're just doing it again, getting some more practice. Okay, so factoring out common terms. First thing, if I had cosine squared x plus cosine squared x times cotangent squared x, if I look, what they have in common is a cosine squared, so I'm going to take that out. So I have cosine squared x times, if I take out cosine squared x from here, I'm left with 1. If I take out a cosine squared x from here, I'm left with cotangent squared x. Okay, if I look at my identities, I can see that 1 plus cotangent is equal to cosecant squared, so I'm going to replace that with cosecant squared x. Okay, that was one of your Pythagorean identities. Okay, then from there, let me see if I can focus this a little better. It's a little blurry. Okay, that's a little better. I can replace cosecant squared with 1 over sine squared, because remember, cosecant is the same thing as 1 over sine. Then when I multiply across, I have cosine squared x over sine squared x, which is the same thing as cotangent squared x. Okay, so there's that example. We had to factor out that cosine before we could figure out what the final simplification is. Alright, next thing is looking at the difference of squares. Okay, if you recall this from just our normal, I'm going to draw a little box over here, factoring, if I had x squared minus 4, okay, the difference of perfect squares, these are both perfect squares. X squared is a perfect square, because if I took the square root, it'd be x. If I took the square root of 4, it'd be 2. Okay, and it's difference because it's subtracting. So this was x plus 2 and x minus 2. Same thing qualifies for when we're using trig. So I have cosecant squared x minus 1 over cosecant x minus 1. Okay, I can't cancel these out because of the subtraction here. But if I look at the top, it's the difference of perfect squares. This is a squared, and square root of 1 is 1. So I'm going to take cosecant x minus 1 and cosecant x plus 1. Okay, all over cosecant x minus 1. So with that, I am now able to cancel these, and I'm left with cosecant x plus 1. Okay, that can't be reduced any further because there's no identities that we can change. So this is just our answer. That's as simple as it can get. If we go to example 3, we have cosecant to the 4th power x minus cotangent to the 4th power x. Okay, again, these are both perfect squares. If I took the square root, it'd be cosecant squared, cotangent squared. So this simplified would be cosecant squared x minus cotangent squared x, and cosecant squared x plus cotangent squared x. Okay, if I were to look at my Pythagorean identities, okay, this one has both cotangent and cosecant in it. If I subtracted cotangent from both sides, I would have it equal to 1. So this right here is equal to 1. Okay, so then I'm left with 1 times cosecant squared x plus cotangent squared x. Alright, so that gives me my answer. Alright, and then lastly we have trinomials. Okay, so if I have sine 4x minus 2 sine squared x plus 1, this would be the same thing as if I had x to the 4th minus 2x squared plus 1. I would need to factor that. Okay, so factoring this would be, be x squared and x squared. Okay, then we'll multiply this to be 1, but adds to be negative 2, negative 1, and negative 1. Okay, same thing, but now I have sine instead of just x. So my factors would be sine squared x minus 1 and sine squared x plus 1. Okay. Ooh, both minus, sorry. Alright, so now, because these are the same factors, this is sine squared x minus 1 squared. Okay, well this is an identity. Okay, if I rearrange this, I'll get it to be negative cosine squared x. Okay, if I rearrange that first identity to look like that, I get negative cosine squared. Okay, but then that whole thing is squared. Okay, well negative squared is positive, so this becomes positive cosine to the 4th x. Alright, so here's your assignment A4, page 380, numbers 45 through 54. Please let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.